it's time for Critically Sensitive with your favorite hosts, Val Ball and Nate French. Yay!
Welcome to the new streaming sensation, Critically Sensitive.
It's a sweeping the nations, coming to your town. There's no way to refuse it, you can't put it down. It's your favorite, take care of it, it's gonna make you happy. I'm working on a new theme song. That's a preview.
That was good.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar, you've just joined Critically Sensitive, where we discuss critical thoughts about sensitive
Subjects you might be sensitive about yourself. That you yourself may be sensitive about, like.
And what brings us together today? Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today.
I mean, it's.
But for real,
yeah.
we wanted to just talk about. We know Val's Day passed, and whether you were single or together, and what is marriage? And I think about it as a social construct of control. Like, is it, is everything that we do, like, in courtships just simply a mating ritual because we want somebody to fuck? I mean...
Is it like a wedding matrix?
And how do we not be cynical about it? Like,
no, I mean, seriously, though, it's hard because love, and people will challenge you and be like, well, if you're really in love, then why aren't you married?
But what is marriage? Who
what
decides what marriage is? And I
know, it's confusing.
I have a real struggle with the concept, and I think about the idea that, like, civil unions aren't a thing anymore because now same-sex marriage is legalized. But marriage is a construct of the church, I guess, or a religion. Like, is it a legal civil union? And what is...
Well, you can
that
still
look like...
go to the courthouse and get your, married by the clerk and stuff. That's not very fancy, but it's legally getting married. I mean, that's the most
great, but
version
why can't people just choose to be in a relationship with each other and not have
benefit?
to get a social contract for it?
See, I think
or
that's the
is
rub.
it just socializing into a patriarchy?
I think that's the rub right there, because it's like, what's the benefit? There's obvious benefits, and that's why people are fighting so hard to be recognized legally, to be able to have the rights, to be able to have a say in the person's funeral, let's say, or different things that may happen in their life. They get sick, they go to the hospital. If you're in a gay marriage and your state doesn't recognize gay marriage,
well, they all do now.
You know what I'm saying, though? But that's the
right.
That's
I understand that was an issue.
So
like, I understand that. Again, why do we have to do that, though?
No.
Why can't just, like, anyone who's on your list be, like, let in? And, like, why do we have that? Like, to me, and
I mean, religion has a lot to do with that, I'd say, absolutely. And it's also the social stigma that people have placed on the idea of you're not in the quote-unquote normal, and you're not a part of, like, what is that curve, that normal bell curve of people who are doing what is accepted or what have you. And I think that's a tough sell, because you're really asking people to say, well, what is accepted? What is true? What is reality? And you're asking them to define it on a dime. And that's why I think they defer to the powers that be, and they defer to, like...
I mean, I think that's part of it. Is it's not just the patriarchy that it's a part of, but it's the consumerism and the
what can you
capitalism of the wedding industry, right? And
those flowers.
That's a whole nother thing. Like, the disposableness of a wedding celebration. Mm-hmm. And, like, what is that? Is it a, like... What's love got to do with that? When is it, I think about the idea of, like, to get married or not to get married. Yep. That is the question, right? Like, and is it just a show off moment?
Right.
Is it actually a glorious show up moment? Like,
are you gonna spend $20,000, on flowers, and then, like, another $10,000 on the catering and everything else. You're going to have this extravaganza and a giant reception, and you're going to invite 300 people. And I mean, I guess to some degree or another, like if you have the means to do that and you feel like you can fill that seating arrangement out and you really want to do that and you feel like it's necessary, I can't stop you and I never try. But I will say this, like, I don't think that I should feel like imposed upon to put some kind of big to-do on just to have a conversation really with the person that I'm choosing to be with, that I'm mated with, that I said that I'm, going to be with. I'm committed to you. Why does that have to have such a giant price tag to it, to the point of consumerism? Like it's just wasteful and weird. Like you're trying to start a life together. That money could be way better spent on helping you with your life than just throwing this giant, massive throwdown party. I just,
For real.
It seems stupid. I don't know.
For
what you
real.
think about it.
I say yes to that.
Yeah.
I say yes to like the idea that money could be better spent. Like that's kind of what I think about it. Like I always feel bad. My ex-husband, yes, I have been married. I did get married. My marriage and my divorce have the same anniversary, 3 years apart. Thank you very much. I did it myself.
Good job.
Both times. I asked him to marry me and I divorced us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like I'm a do-it-yourself kind of gal. I just feel like that money could be better spent. I feel bad about it to this day, that when I was pregnant with our kid and we had just gotten married, he like brought home a very thoughtful fountain for our bedroom and a
Like a
little
peaceful
water,
little
like
fountain.
a little
Yeah.
Zen fountain, right? And it was very sweet. And I
trying
am
hard.
such a bitch. I am such a bitch. I'm so sorry that I was like mad because he spent the like $40
it was an
because I'm
important
like,
$40
the
probably.
kid's on the way.
Yeah.
What are you doing spending $40? Which I should have absolutely shoulda, coulda, woulda been more understanding. But
Receptive.
that is because I mean, here's the thing, right? Like the concept of marriage, companionship. I don't want to argue about the concept of companionship and that relationships are important. It's the wedding and the marriage that I am more questioning, I guess.
Some people live for it, though. They love it. They love wedding season. They love everything about going to weddings. They're going to be super mad that you're even suggesting the idea that they don't have them. I mean,
and that is why we call it critically sensitive. That is why I know that I'm being critical and I'm going to be sensitive and you're going to be sensitive and you're going to be critical.
Yeah.
And we're going to do our best.
We're going to all do our best to not be too overly critical to the sensitivity. But we do gotta
Sometimes
be
we're going to
sensitive.
get hypercritical here. Hypercritical and super sensitive. I wonder how much of it, I mean, I know because I, like I said, did my own divorce because I had my Jerry Springer moment where my husband had to date a girlfriend and a wife all at the same party. And when I was like,
That's
universe,
That's a solid joke. That's the beginning to a solid joke right there.
So I was like, universe, I need something good out of this, not just to like, hey, he's an asshole lesson. Like, that's a lesson I'm willing to learn right now. I need a little more than that, universe. And literally the universe brought this dude to my attention named David Shazinski. And I was like, ooh, do your friends call you the Shiznit Shazinski? Because I would if I was your friend. And we started talking and he goes, hey, have you ever thought about being a paralegal? And I was like, no, but I probably should. And so, yeah, like that's how I got my first paralegal job where I got to do my own divorce. So I'm aware that the concept of marriage isn't the commitment of never leaving. So what is that commitment? What does that look like?
It's about the dancing. Everybody does it for the dancing. They only get married for the dancing. Everybody wants to get to the reception and they want to do the fucking chicken dance and they want to do all the like
just an excuse to
funky,
party.
Yeah, I mean honestly, like if you're thinking on, I mean if you personally, and I won't put this on everybody because I know I'm not everybody, but I'll say
can only
for
speak
myself.
for ourselves.
I have had fun at weddings. I am not going to sit here and
I cry at
and
them.
not admit that I'm the hypocrite who says like I do like think that it's fun when I go to a party, but let's just be honest. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to a party. It's your wedding, sure, but I'm there for the party afterwards. I sit through the like 2 hour bullshit of you being like, I really like the way David always holds my hair when I throw up. You know, it's just like fucking so stupid. And everybody's just like, okay, yep. Oh shit, we finally get to eat fucking food and drink too much. Thank God. I've been fucking waiting to drink too much so long.
I actually enjoy the wedding. Like, I really do enjoy the commitment part. There is something to that. I actually I got to do.
You're like, I like the wedding.
I like the wedding.
fuck
I
the
actually
wedding.
cry at the wedding. I get all teary eyed. I rewrote my vows when I got married off of Depeche Mode.
You're crying at the wedding.
I do. I'm all like, oh my God. So.
Your makeup running, it's just like, it's so beautiful. Oh my God.
Or I'm really irreverent and get kicked out of the wedding. And
honey.
And like, but isn't it all about me?
It's the bride's special day.
I know.
Can't steal focus.
Sorry.
That's the one thing. I honestly, you know what? I will say this. Like, some of the things that they come up with, like as far as the wedding themselves and like some of the things people stage, it is impressive. It looks unbelievable. And I get that you're like, this is why we're together because our love is epic. And
there's something beautiful about that.
Good on you.
Like,
good on you for the confidence of like your love and everything. Like, that's great. I just personally think, I guess it's because I've been so poor. And I'm like, that money could be better spent. You know, have a smaller party. Or like we always talk about literally the same thing. That if we were going to ever really do a formal anything, it would be a party that would just be a reception style event where we would just be announcing to people that
we officially did it. Hey,
to go to the courthouse
and like even showing off the ring is a like.
Yeah. It's just so difficult. I think,
and
honestly,
then don't get me started on the gems and diamonds and the bullshit of diamonds. Like, ooh,
well, you know what?
I can go off.
And you know what's true? And I think that is you have to admit it as a human person. And I don't care what anything, like just as a human person, I can't tell the difference between a fake diamond and a real diamond when I look at them. Except for when I look at the fake diamond, it looks 1,000 times better than the real diamond. And when you look at like a real diamond that I can afford, it looks like a dirty rock. And I'm like, well, fucking, I mean, I guess.
I don't want a diamond, honey.
You know what I'm saying?
Again, I don't want a diamond. I've watched Blood Diamond. I know why Elon Musk sucks is because he is a villain because he is the son of emerald farmers or miners. Like emerald, like they. I mean,
it's just such
not good
I don't
people.
mean to laugh, but it's just such a like him. Like as a little gremlin in the emerald mine is just a little bit funny. Like I just think about him, like him hit his little emerald mine. I know that's not the point of it. I understand you.
I know.
But I think of it every time you say it. I can't help myself. I think that's why he wants to go to Mars. There's secretly a core of emeralds there. He can smell them. That's why emeralds drive him crazy. He needs to go there.
There is kryptonite.
He has to, but like the opposite, where like he wants it.
There is super rock.
He covers it.
Super crystal. Super crystal.
He needs it. He needs it.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. These are just thoughts that we're sharing with you folks. Yeah. These are just ideas and thoughts that we have. We love feedback, discussion. We want you to click subscribe and we want you to come with us. If we get to 100 subscribers, just a reminder, we get our own YouTube name.
Thank
it won't
God.
be numbers anymore.
Blah, blah.
So if you want to help Critically Sensitive get its own YouTube name, subscribe, click the bell. We want to bring you a weekly show about who knows what.
Every week is going to be something incredible. You know
this week when marriage was on our minds and smashing the patriarchy.
We are a fan of marriage. We want to say we're a fan of marriage in the sense that I know it makes you happy and people like it. We're not saying don't be happy and don't enjoy yourselves and don't get married. We're saying that for us, it's confusing. The amount of money you spend is confusing.
And their work, and I'm amazed at people who have been together for years. I mean, I came from divorce. I'm a child of divorce. I am a participant in divorce. I've been a professional doing divorces. I am well trained in divorce. The marriage part is much, much harder. I do agree that companionship and sharing experiences over the past 5.5 years of doing that really steadily has definitely improved my life. I
well,
cannot...
and it's had its huge challenges too. Like we've had our like moments where we were having struggles and things were tough money wise and everything. All the problems that relationships
trying to build a house. Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing that I think people will say to you, like, well, how come you're not married? You've been through all these things together. Why don't you just like make it official? And I think that's the reason why we don't want to do it almost exclusively. At least for me, I'll speak for myself on that one. Is that I hate being told what to do by anybody, and society being like,
sure, they get
you have to fucking get married. I'm like, no, maybe I'll never get married now. Fuck you. How's that sound? Like,
I mean, my favorite line from Rage Against the Machine is "Fuck you, I won't do as you tell me."
I mean, it's just,
and I mean, I taught it to my son, and then wonder why he says that to me, and I'm like, damn it. You weren't supposed to listen. Oh, wait, you are supposed to listen.
Mistakes were made.
You only choose what to listen to. That's selective listening. That is, I think I've heard that's a really effective tool in marriage. Is selective listening.
I remember there's the one line from, oh my God, that show Modern Family that I loved so much. We both enjoyed that very much.
That's a funny one.
There's one where Jay is talking to Gloria and he's, or he's talking about Jay and Gloria to the little camera moment. And he's like, she won't be able to see me. I won't be able to hear her.
Yep.
We'll be able to live happily ever after forever. It's
There's
just
a
like
compliment to it.
It's one of those moments where, like, I think when you found somebody who makes your life enhanced in some way, maybe it's not going to be enhanced. It's not going to be something like off the wall, unbelievable, where you're like off on adventures every day and you're spending all the money and you're doing all the things.
Maybe you are. That sounds like a great marriage, and I would like to be in that. Please.
I'm working on it. Look at me with the hammer. Oh, get me.
Getting it.
Fix it.
Fix it.
Fix it up.
Fixer.
No, I think it is obviously it's a work in progress. Everything that you're doing is definitely.
And I really have the other thing is I really have always had the idea that, relationships are opportunities to grow together. And at the same time, there's that work that must be done to build that foundation. And you will constantly be, tweaking it here or there or building supports over here or building supports over there, because a home needs lots of supports and framing. And
somebody's always doing it, even when you don't see it. Like, that's what we've talked to our kids about, and I think hopefully they will maybe someday talk to their kids about. They'll understand the idea of, I'm doing so many things behind the scenes that you don't even think about, and I'm doing so many things to make things happen. And I think that's, like, when you think about the marriage part, maybe that's why people think it needs to be such a grandiose experience, because they feel like they've put so much time into their relationship. And in that regard, I hear you, but maybe there's a better way to express that. That's all I'm trying to say. Maybe find a way to do that doesn't requires such a gigantic expenditure, and you don't have to put on such a show. I just think it needs to be a more intimate affair, personally.
And I mean, we're not even...
if you're being serious about it.
I mean, I'll dip my toe in it, and we don't have to get too far into it. But, I mean, even in our first discussion, like, then you get into the idea, is monogamy made up? Like, are we really supposed to be monogamous? Because that's a whole nother social construct that we chatted about in the first episode when we talked about, me being bi, and does that mean I get a hetero mate and a homo mate, and how many people can I marry, and what does that mean? And then, I mean, but that's also problematic in terms of, like, human trafficking and having to, like, that furthers the patriarchy in some respects in Mormon and other multiple wife relationships. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, Yeah, I would like to have sister wives. Yes, please. Like, yes, please. Not necessarily do I want the Mormon faith, but sister
want
wives,
sister
I
wives?
think, kind of would be awesome.
I think that would be insane. I can't like imagine trying to handle more than one actual relationship, trying to have a serious relationship with more
It
than
is
one
hard work,
person.
that is for sure. And
Sounds
communication
so
is
different. I have such a hard time
essential. Sure, for
dealing
sure.
with it now. I can't
sure.
imagine trying to be like, let me have two simultaneous serious things happening. Just
I don't know that I could do it. I just think about it. I just think about
so
it.
tiring.
It is.
I'm just like,
sounds like a lot of
no
work.
way. I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the idea of, and I'll say this out loud and for everybody to hear. I like the way that we live now because I feel like the way that we live now was organic. We didn't like plan for this to work out necessarily. We just got together and saw what happened, and the fact that it continues to work, I think, to a high level, and we get better every year at being together and learning about each other. I think that that's something that we're doing correct. I don't know that it's wrong that we're not married.
Living in sin.
It just bothers me a little bit. And again, I think that's what I wanted this
And then there are,
focus to kind of
of
be on.
course,
from my
economic
perspective.
discussions about the economic effects of being married versus not being married, and what does that mean for different reasons that and I think that the important part of any relationship is that the two people in the relationship get to decide what that relationship is. It's not anybody else's to decide or
sure.
tell anyone what a relationship is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I think that's why I rebel against the concept of marriage, is the idea of like kind of along the lines of you, where I'm like, how dare you tell me what my relationship is supposed to be like? I get to decide. And
Maybe it's not a snowy day every day that's beautiful, that's picturesque. Maybe that's a lot to live up to some people. Like when you try to live up to this impossible standard of like, well, you have to have this romantic sweep you off your feet kind of stories and all these things going. A lot of people just are really happy together and they don't have big giant explanations for why. They just know that it works and it makes them feel good and they have good time together. I don't think that it needs to be some kind of big expanse of, great expenditure of time and energy and money in that way. In fact, I think relationships, when they work, are supposed to be easier, in my experience. Like it seems like it makes things easier to deal with rather than more complex and more complicated, which, as beautiful as some things that are complicated can be, I find the simplicity is what I always want to gravitate towards,
As we talk about here on Critically Sensitive, it is something that we will always gravitate to, is talking about difficult subjects like marriage.
And it's what brings us together today. That is just my favorite. You know what? If nothing else, marriage, you gave us that line.
True love, a dweem within a dweem. Well, it's been great talking to you folks about marriage. Let us know what you think marriage is about. We'd love to hear from you.
I'm sorry that I had such a down view of it in general, but I really love people. And
we love your love.
And we'll see you next time on The Big Show.